lies and deceit. If not for the coming of IPOB, of Radio Biafra, all of you would have lived and died in the ignorance that Ojukwu caused a war. That's what they were writing. Britain helped them to write it. Ojukwu was a rebel, a secessionist, because we had no media. That is why they're paying Facebook billions upon billions of US dollars to stop this truth from coming out. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Gowon is alive, go and ask him. Did Ojukwu cause any war? Ojukwu went and negotiated restructuring with you in Aburi. You came back, Britain told you not to agree because Britain realized that all the component units of Britain knows that if you go back to regionalism, you will have economic growth. The country will do very well. But Britain doesn't want it. That was why they even instigated the Nzogwu coup, so-called Nzogwu coup, saying they will bring Awolowo to become the head of state. They knew what was going to happen. They wanted to truncate the economic miracle of Dr. Michael. But what I'm telling you are fast. Go and investigate for yourself. In the East, you had the fastest growing economy in the whole world, over 40% every year. In the West, Awolowo was performing his own miracle as well. Even in the North, Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa were doing very well. You had all those massive industries in the North. You even had Alamajiris that were employed in the North, meaningfully employed, gainfully employed. They were all doing very well. Britain said, no, for us to control these people, we need to impoverish them. Let us introduce this war. There was a coup by Nzogwu. And after that, there was the massacre of, as usual, massacre of our people in the North. Ojukwu said, I have to secure my land and my people. They said, no, let's go to Aburi to discuss it. Ojukwu went to Aburi and agreed, restructuring. That's something now you're asking for, to tell you how foolish Nigerians are. They're very foolish. That same nonsense you're asking for now was discussed many years ago. Ojukwu sat down in Aburi with Gowon and decided that regionalism was the best way forward, restructuring, going back to who you were, 1963 Constitution, 1960-1963 Constitution. Be on your own and pay tax to the central government, as they have in America, as they have even in Britain. Britain, you have Scotland that is almost independent, Wales, the same thing, everybody is free, but Britain doesn't want the same thing they're enjoying to happen in Nigeria. Why? Ask yourself that question. Anybody telling you about one Nigeria is your enemy. I'll prove it to you now. Ojukwu negotiated devolution, regionalism. The North will be on their own, the West on their own, even Midwest on their own, and then the East on their own. It's the same one Nigeria. On their way to the airport, before they boarded the aircraft, a call came from Lagos, from the British High Commissioner in Lagos to Gowon, telling Gowon not to agree, after having signed the agreement. That same Gowon you're looking at today, God kept me alive so that he can witness the destruction he will bring upon that very zoo called Nigeria. Gowon said no. Do you know all the journalists in Nigeria, none of them have ever gone to Gowon to ask him, why did he say no to Aburi? Aburi was restructuring. None of those agitating for restructuring right now has ever gone to Gowon or gone to Nigeria to say, but Ojukwu negotiated restructuring. What happened? They came back and they said no. Ojukwu said, okay, so you want to continue to kill my people all over the place? No. Because of that, I'll declare Biafra. Today, they have brainwashed all of you with the perverse notion and thinking that somehow Ojukwu is responsible for causing a war, when opposite is the case. If not now, that after many years of hammering on this very topic, it has now sunk into the skull of the people that Gowon was the aggressor, not Ojukwu. That's how Nigeria is, always blaming the victim. And we lost over 5 million people during that very genocidal war. They killed over 5 million Biafrans. They wanted to wipe us away from the face of this very earth. But we survived it, and we are here today. Those they gave birth to, they have come. And this time with a wrath that you cannot even begin to imagine. And Biafra must come. It must come.
without a shred of fear. Held to be a fraud, consecrated nation. Oh, Fatherland, peace be our solemn plate. Defending thee shall be our dedication. Spilling our blood, we will count our privilege. Now waving standard which emboldened thee free shall always be our flag of liberty.
I thought of Biafra freedom taking longer, and cause of that you tend to feel so low. I know our freedom is your greatest hunger. I thought of Biafra keeps your heart aglow. We will walk the line, this that we've known with time. Gotta take it away. Just hold on and don't let go. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fight is just a step away. Just hold on. Oh, hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fight is just a step away. Our history has never known no laughter. It's always been this red and black, no green. A nation of displaced yet hungry people. We shine a brighter light, the world will see. We will touch the skies and set up a throne on high, and reign with our God. Just hold on and don't let go. Hold on, do not let go. Just hold on and don't let go. Your fight is just a step away. Just hold on. Oh, hold on.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and good night to some of you, depending on where you are watching from. You are welcome to this program. While you are joining, share this video, invite others to join. We are live across the media platforms such as Twitter at Judge Money C. We are live at Judge Money blog on Facebook. We are live at Judge Money Official. We are also live at Judge Money blog Africa on YouTube rather. So this evening we are going to actually talk about the image you saw right in front of your screen while you join. On the other hand, it is Uwazurike and his declaration and his motivation and his call to release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, whenever these people come out, you should know it is either they are pursuing something or something is pursuing them. But this time around, I can categorically assure you that I believe Uwazurike is not pursuing anything, but maybe something is pursuing him. And I want you to understand that there is many things that Uwazurike said, which are the things that are very, very important, that we bring it back and remind you. Because Uwazurike sent a message to all of you who believe you are affiliated to Biafra or with Biafra struggle. And Uwazurike also actually said that some of you who believe that you are fighting for Biafra. So all these things, we are going to unpack them and actually bring it down to the layman perspective or layman's understanding. Because it is very, very important. Uwazurike is, he was one of us before he deterred or he derailed. But at the end of the day, I believe that what is pushing this struggle, it is called something that we cannot see. It is an energy that we cannot see. Probably the gene of those fallen heroes prior 1967 to 1970. Probably it is their gene pushing the struggle, and we continue where they stopped, and we will go exceed where they stop, and we will restore Biafra. And they will all rest in freedom. It is very, very important for you to know that the Spirit can push you to say anything. The Spirit can push you to do anything. The Spirit can motivate you that when you finish saying that thing, by the time you know it is already out there, you will be wondering, how did I say this? Am I really the person who said this? That is how the Spirit push you. And at the end of the day, if you think about it in a freedom fighting perspective, you will understand that whatever you just said, they are all valid. The energy was just there to motivate you to say it without fear or favor to anyone. That is how the Spirit, as you may know, or the gene that is in us, that is pushing us to continue to fight for this struggle. And now we are going to be talking about Uwazurike's speech. We are also going to talk about the release of Ohamadike and the message Buhari, what Buhari said about Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. And secondly, of course, then I will contextualize it rather with what this Uwanyanwu said. From there, we are now going to also discuss the release of 594 Boko Haram, which Nigeria portrayed to you that this Boko Haram, they are repented, they have gone through a rehabilitation process. That is the reason why they will be reintegrated into the military formation or into Nigeria communities. I want you to know that in all these things that is happening, you should understand that that is the reason why a wise person said, the commander, Julius Malema said, and I quote him verbatim. He said that the reason why America, which time where there is a terrorism or any sign of terrorism, when the USA get involved, it will never go away. Rather, it will continue to get worse until it becomes a generational curse. I might not quote him verbatim there in my submission, but that is exactly the way it is. So, in this regard, you will begin to ask yourself, terrorism in Nigeria keep on expanding. Terrorism in Nigeria keep on gaining momentum. Terrorism in Nigeria keep on becoming a norm to the societies or to the media, to everywhere. Terrorism in Nigeria is not worthy of reporting anymore because it is not posing a risk to the politicians and maybe the people who groom them. That is the reason why terrorism in Nigeria is not, taking up your headlines every day. Because the terrorism in Nigeria is what, if you as international community will begin to imagine, even though all these ambassadors, all these envoy, all these representatives, all these NGOs that are in Nigeria, that are all over the place in Nigeria, they are able to know these numbers of people that are dying the hands of this monstrous syndicate called terrorists. But they will never actually bring it to the table. Even if they bring it to the table, they will weigh the option to see, is this really, beneficial to the British agenda? Or they will weigh the option and ask themselves, is this really beneficial to USA agenda? And at the end of the day, they will come to the terms that if we curb this boogeyman of these people, this OG, it means that they will all start now focusing on how to have a good nation building. Rather, instead of them trying to curb it, they will fuel it. When they fuel it, you will be busy dying, reducing your population, because their own population is dwindling. Are you now understanding it? Facebook kicks you out, bring yourself back up, because these are the type of conversation Facebook does not want us to have. If they kick you out, make sure you bring yourself back up, because that is their slogan. We might not have a lot of audience, but if you share the video, we will try. So, it is very, very necessary for you to understand what is going on. That is what we are going to talk about today. Now, let me read this news. Let me read this news to you before we go to Uwazurike's speech. They said, according to Punch newspaper, but Punch newspaper is trying to be politically correct in this regard. That is the reason why they said the number 590 repented Boko Haram terrorists and end course apologize for killings. Now, do you know the meaning of they graduated basically and they apologize to you, and that's everything should be okay? Do you have to pretend like everything will be all right? Because those that has fallen in their hands, their family and their loved ones, to hell with them. We just apologize. We did it. Now, they will be reintegrated into the military formation. That is the reason why any military formation that will want to come up to tackle the menace of terrorist attacks in the north, you know what they will do to them? They will transfer them, or they will basically, you know what they will do? Either they set him up there, if they know that they will still use this person in future, they will send him somewhere else. They will send him to another mission. to make sure he does not lead that attack on Boko Haram, on ISWAP, on Fulani terrorists, because it is a bad market for them. So now the ones that are now reintegrated, you believe that they will go into the bush and start killing people they have covenant with. People that make brainwash them, their God. You will think they will rebel against them. That is something you don't understand in Islamic law and the Islamic belief system. Islamic belief system is a do or die extremist, especially the type of Islamic belief system in Nigeria. It is that, it is like that of Iran. No, Iran is actually more developed and even fair to her people, more than what is happening in Nigeria under the disguise of Islam. So, if you look at it, you will understand that these people, they are the tool, that they are the sacrificial lamb. They have devoted their lives to sacrifice, to die for what they believe in, for their cause. That is the reason why, even if you kill millions of them, it does not stop them until you make sure consistency is a way to eradicate terrorists in every nation. And every nation that is full of terrorism, it means that the leadership or the president or whoever that is in the presidency, they are the ones benefiting from the terrorist activities. That is the way it is. That is the way it is. If you understand science, if you understand works of intelligence, you will know that there is no way an anti-terrorist president will be on a position of presidency. Terrorists will be ravaging the country. It is not possible. That is a sovereign nation. A sovereign nation that if they give, command right now, Boko Haram will be eradicated in Nigeria. The highest thing it is going to take them that you might regret later. The highest thing. If that country is as poor as Zimbabwe or Malawi, as poor as Malawi, I will tell you, they might end up going out there to source for help from the neighboring countries. Not to search for help from the Western countries. No, that will be the biggest mistake, because the leverage there, you will never finish paying them. You will never finish, you can't make it to end that leverage. Now, it is now very, very necessary for us to understand that these people have taken an oath to die, to fight the infidels. The people who does not believe in what they believe in. Regardless of how good you think you are with them, they are not good with you. That is the reason why, if you remember during the time, the northern people started killing our people in the north. Even some of our people who started revenging, killing the northern people in the east. You find some Igbo people going to hire some northern people in their house. Then they ended up killing their own, the person who harbored them, who made them friends, who gave them a place of safety. They killing them, killing their children, run away. That is religious extremism. Or will I say it is belief system that is very, very extreme. they are very fanatical about that belief system. If I may use the right terminology. Because if these people, whom you call, Boko Haram, they were there, they were doing it, small time, their younger brother, ISWAP, or their senior brother, whichever one, joined them. Before they came in, Fulani terrorists paved the way for them already. That is how it is. They are now united. Whenever you hear about a new set of terrorists in any country, if there is a particular terrorist in a country, you hear there is another new name or new brand that just come up into that country, you should simply know that there is another new raw material that is that is actually found in the area where these people are going to settle. That is the way it is. Because they will explore these raw materials. After exploration of these raw materials, they will sell it in a black market. And black market, of course, it will never give you what you deserve. And it will only exploit you, knowing that you are under pressure. You are committing a crime here. So that is the way it is. So this is exactly the reason why you will never ever curb the menace of terrorist activities in Nigeria, because people are benefiting from it. People are benefiting from it. That is the reason why I played the voice or the video of Donald Trump, what he said about the excessiveness of the United States to the world, to the rest of the world, especially the third world country called Africa, Nigeria, which is the leader of the Africa giants, the third world country. Nigeria has been called a giant of Africa, but they kept Africa in the third world in the last 60 years, or in the last 100 years, rather. But they are giants. They are supposed to be the leader. They are supposed to be the biggest economy. They are supposed to be the United States of Africa. But because their plan was not to create the United States of Africa, their plan was to create disastrous state of Africa. Their plan was to create time bomb ticking type of Africa. That has been their plan. And the time bomb is very, very, it is now so ripe that it can blow up at any given time. And that is because you have a terrorist mindset in the presidency. And those terrorist mindsets, they practice bureaucracy. Like these are bureaucrats. Within that formation of presidency, if there is nobody who is giving information to terrorists, if there is nobody who is funding terrorism, if there is nobody who is actually jeopardizing and sabotaging the security of that nation for their own selfish and Western agenda aggrandizement, you will actually understand that there will be no terrorism in any country. And these things are being funded through NGOs. So many people might all the time, you won't understand this NGO is here, they are doing this, they are seeing to this victims of terrorism. These NGOs are here. They are seeing to the victims of these attacks without you knowing that these people you are seeing as philanthropists, NGOs, that they are the funding machine. And they don't fund the terrorists directly. That is something that is very, very smart of them. They will never fund the terrorists directly. They will always have a, onyama. They will have third party, first, second party, accomplices, linkage, TJ Hooker. So they will have this cycle, which is called a syndicate. In this syndicate, nobody knows who is calling the shot last. And at the end of the day, that is the reason why so many atrocities that the West is committing in Africa, it will never ever circle back to them, because we don't have intelligence. That is number one. We don't have intelligence in Africa. It will never circle back to them. And when eventually somebody rise to be intelligent, the next thing they will do, they will use people around you to take you out. Because it is a syndicate. They are like region. They are like legion. Is it region? They are like legion. They are everywhere. They are everywhere. So that is the reason why they will always win if you allow them to still be in your life. I am not saying sever ties with them, if you are, because this is now a general topic for Africa and the African continent. It is trying to make sure you know how to make a policy without being prejudiced by the West, without anything. You know how to make your policy, stand by it, and make sure that they themselves respect your sovereignty as a nation. That is it. As long as the policy you are making, it is a policy that is constitutional in your country. You know what is constitutional? You must make a constitutional policies that is in line with your constitution. Those are the policies that you will make. Then, if they believe, if Facebook kick you out, bring yourself back up. They keep on doing that. Once people come in, they limit it because they told me my page deserves to be uprooted and not to work. And I am broadcasting from that same page. So, it is a problem that when these people interfere in your policies, whichever policy you want to make, they interfere with it, which is a policy of not killing innocent people, or policy of killing people, or like death sentence, which is a policy of death sentence. They can actually talk about it, but not really dictate for you on how to go about this death sentence. Now, what am I trying to say? Like the way Uganda is trying to make their policy on LGBTQ queer community. It is their policy. If the Ugandans saw it as something bad for them, Ugandans will come out and protest. Population, or there must be a referendum. If it is something that is very, that is so, sensitive, then they will go through a referendum. Do we want this in this place, or do we not want it? Then then the majority takes it that we want LGBTQ community to be legalized in this place, so that it will nullify all these people who are in the West interfering with the people in Africa. It will nullify their opinion. Now they are now interfering in such thing, trying to fight this same thing, that this country decided that they don't want LGBTQ. At least, even if you don't like what they are trying to do, you respect their constitution, which gave them a sovereign nation, or which made them to be a sovereign nation. If there is any place where their constitution stated that you will actually, approve this community to be, to be legalized, if you approve their legality, it means it is constitutional. If it is not written in your constitution, it is not going to make sense if anybody want to challenge it, because most of these constitutions were derived and recopied from most of the colonialist ways. It was not there. Why was it not there when they were there? Except those countries that just celebrated their independence, before 30 years ago. Those might find such things in their constitution. But what about those before that time? Why is it not found in their constitution? Now, coming back to it. If they are now pushing back that this particular, policy is not going to stand in your country as a leader of your country, commander-in-chief of your country, and you obey them, tomorrow they will bring military, or they will make sure they sabotage the country, that they have to bring their military surveillance in there. And they will keep on saying they are checking up on you because we don't trust you. Or it will be like that. Or all these secret, agents. That is the way it is. But if you make your policy, you stand by it. If the pushback is too much, conduct a referendum. Because that is a policy you have seen as a person, individual, that will favor your country, that is constitutional, because that constitution is something that you people gathered and agree with, right? For that moment until it is amended, you are actually compelled to obey that constitution. If you are not obeying the constitution, you are a world criminal. That is the reason why you will be tried in ICC, International Criminal Court. If they are not, complicit today, if they are not, they are not selective in the terms of what they are going to look into. If they are not selective, you will understand that many Western leaders supposed to be in prison. Likewise, hundreds of African leaders supposed to be in prison. But because they pick and choose, They know that whoever that is committing this international crime or a crime against United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which they are supposed to be signatory to all of them. If those crimes does not, as long as it violates them, they're supposed to start advocating. But they will only advocate when it comes to something that will not be beneficial to people. That will not be beneficial. When I talk about beneficial, I talk about when you think about this LGBTQ queer community, it is not beneficial to any country. I am not being homophobic, but I'm being realistic. It is not beneficial to any country. Because what makes a nation great is the multiplication in their number. Additions to their number. That is what makes a nation great. Now, if you want us to, talk further on that, the reason why Donald Trump said that they need to increase fertility rate in America, it is because he understands, as an entrepreneur, as a businessman or business tycoon, as a politician who wants something to help his nation, he knows that fertility rate of America is dwindling. And they actually need this number in order to, place themselves in a particular scale in the world. But because their number is reducing, especially the number of the white Americans, that is the reason why they are making sure they promote LGBTQ queer community. Even in everywhere in Africa, they promote it more so that it controls the fertility rates of African nations. Because a woman plus a woman cannot give birth. A man plus a man cannot give birth. This issue, it is not a natural cause. I have never seen a dog doing it to another dog, or a goat doing it to another goat, no matter how it is. It is not a natural something. I know it is not a problem, but if you start noticing the numbers of children, male children, that has been raped, sorry for using that word, Facebook, that has been raped by their, people who belong to the LGBTQ community in your societies. Number of children, they will be raped, especially they will be the family member. They will be a family member. They will do this crime. Because they are family member, they will not be reported. And when that child is growing up, that child automatically becomes bio. If he is supposed to be, he becomes bio. When a woman breaks his heart, he goes straight. He becomes homosexual. This is things I have seen, stories I have heard, and watch it play out. And most of all these things, when you think about them, if I start talking about them, they will believe I am being homophobic. In my own culture and belief system, I am supposed to be homophobic. If I may put it in that manner, I am supposed to be. And I am not a fan of queer community. I am not a fan. Can never be. God created me to have children and multiply. He never created me to go and start looking for, something that doesn't make sense. to him as God. These things are, man-made. And it's always starting where you expose your children. If one of them or some of them will walk up to you and tell you the truth, how they become these things, you will understand it started from their childhood, whom they were exposed to. And they will now bring them into that. From childhood. It is always like that. By the time they grow up, they don't even know what is, relationship, which they don't know what is opposite sex and negative sex. They don't know anymore. Because this is something they were introduced to. And not once, not twice. They were scared to speak. Some of them. It might be the uncle. It might be the favorite cousin. They will be scared to speak. I don't want to put this my uncle in trouble. I don't want to put this my favorite cousin in trouble. This is how it is always in the European communities. I can categorically tell you, in European communities, it has now started being in the, in blacks communities right now. It has expanded. It continues to actually, infect others. Then you will think it's a joke. Before you know it, people will start doing what they are not supposed to do. Tomorrow they will start fighting for right to legalize it. And at the end of the day, if you don't give them that right, the West will come and tell you, no, you must. No, you must. That is the way it is. Because they know it is a systematic way of reducing or keeping your population or fertility rate in check. 1 minus 1 is something. Believe you me. You might not know it. But those who are, systematic about you and your well-being knows about it 100%. So that is the reason why they will promote such thing instead of promoting, promoting the oppression, anti-oppression in Africa. Anti-human rights violation in Africa. Just like Nigeria, because it all circles back to Nigeria. If they start promoting anti-human rights, violation of human rights, anti-terrorism, anti-this, anti-that, and they will be very, very objective about it, and they will be determined, they will determine to make sure that they achieve it. You will find all these problems that you are facing, it will vanish to the thin air. Have you now seen how Arabian world is actually uniting? Arabian world is uniting. You know why? They are uniting to remove this shackle of bondage that has cleaved onto their neck in the last years, using some of them against themselves in the name of terrorism, in the name they are fighting each other. So they are uniting right now. Upon their unification, China is now a peaceful nation. The nation they told us that they are the most violent, they did this, they did that. I know that they are very, very, political about what they are doing. But people actually, get more enticed with what they see. China is now peacekeeper. He went to Russia. He said that it must end with dialogue. Let there be peace. They are on the side of the peace. China went to Arab nation. He started uniting Iran, uniting Amman, Syria, United Arab Emirates. All of them. Very soon you will hear Turkey. They are now united. Boom. Now you will understand that book of Isaiah getting closer. The book of Isaiah, which, I think is Isaiah 13. It will now come to closer to manifestation. Unification of the ancient Medes. Unification of the ancient Medes. If I can open that book of Isaiah. Now, the Medes, let me see which Isaiah. The number of the Isaiah, the chapter, so that you will understand. One moment. Now let me try to open it up. Just one moment. I want to connect something and I want to show you something so that you will also understand the history. Because history will always repeat itself. It's up to you to notice when the change occurs. But so many of us are so blind that they will not notice it. But let me show you. This one is not actually a history, it is a prophecy. The book of Isaiah. Isaiah 13. Is it Isaiah 13? Yes, the book of Isaiah 13. If you have a Bible, you actually open it up to Isaiah 13. Use King James. And the reason why we are not here to learn Bible, but we are here to connect a history. And we are here to connect a prophecy. The way it is not the one somebody will tell you I see. But now, look at it. Isaiah 15. Let me start from verse 13. I want you to pick up something. Pay very good attention. Therefore I will shake heaven, and the earth shall remove out of her place. In the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his people. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. Are you paying attention? Flee every man into his own land. Now verse 15 it says, everyone that is found shall be thrust, which is shall be thrust. They will slay you. That's what it means. They will be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives shall ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them We shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity. On the fruit of the womb, their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency of the Chaldees' excellencies, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. This is a future prophecy. And this era of this prophecy is where we are at right now. And so many people are still looking for another prophet to come and tell them, this is the way it is. Every of this thing happening, it is already written unto us. That is the reason why I actually say that our ancestors, they didn't do us good, because they never withhold this and teach us the way and the manner that we should understand and live our lives, that we will not live a life in infamy. That is the reason why I blame them. Now, in this regard, it is talking about the Medes. I want us to go through a dictionary. Let us find out what is Medes, because that is how you read Bible. Let us go to a dictionary. Let us find out what is Medes. Definition of Medes. Let us find it out. Well, how do you spell Medes? It's M-E-D-E-S. M-E-D-E-S. Let us find out who they are. Okay, if you talk about Mede, which is, or Mede, M-E-D-E, whichever one you call it, how you pronounce it, it talks about a member of an Indo-European people who inhabited ancient Media, establishing extensive empire during the 7th century BC. Now, let us go to Medes. Okay, you can say, what is the modern day Medes? Modern day Medes. M-E-D-E-S. Now, it says, if we don't find what we are looking for in English dictionary, we are going to seek for it through etymology. Now, let us bring it to your context. The Medes were an ancient Iranian people and one of the ancestors of modern Kurdish. People who lived in the northwestern portion of present-day Iran. This is what Bible said. It is not what I said, though. This is what Bible said. Now, have you now seen how the prophecy is working? Have you now seen how we are getting closer and closer and closer to the prophecy? Now, if Nigeria is declared Islamic State, both your children, both the fetus in your womb, they will be dashed. They will be killed. If, while they declare Islamic State, now all the Islamic states, they are now uniting across the world. Have you asked yourself, what is the reason why Nigeria strengthened their relationship with Iran? You don't know. I will tell you. Because Islamic State want to unify. Islamic State, they want to unify. Because they are basically tired of being used against one another. And that is the reason why Islamic State must be declared in Nigeria, so that it will be ruled under Islamic law, which is a law that is, according to them, it is not a bad thing. It is a good thing that takes you to heaven and sometimes give you 500 virgins. That is their law. And I'm not being prejudiced about their law. But the most important question is, do you believe in their law? Is their law the type of law you and your ancestors practiced? Why should it be opposed on you? Why must it be imposed on you? Then, if they impose it on you, in the next 3.5 decades, it becomes a norm to your children. Now, those of you who are telling us, I'm a hardcore Christian, Christianity must dominate everywhere, you will no longer have that time to teach your children how to be a hardcore Christian. Those daddy GOs, the only thing it will do to them, they will fly themselves abroad to go and be daddy GOing. A place where they still pride that is not the Islamic nation. Because everything that you do as a Christian, they see you as an infidel. Do you know why? Because they see the way that you are so-called Christian. They know the origin of Christianity. They know how it comes. They know where it originated from. And it comes from their own enemy too. That is the reason why they will also, but they are not telling you also about the origin of their religion. They are not telling you. And they will not also tell you where it emanated from. And what and the funny things that it does. Because all this religion, they have their own, problem. Because it is through that their religion that somebody will be convinced. Give him gun and bullet. Tell him go out there. Kill people, butcher people. Just don't have mercy on these people. They are infidel. If you go to heaven, sometimes you have 500 virgins. If you kill it and die during the process. Then Christianity pastors will be there using Bible to exploit you. Give tithe and offering. I once told you that if you don't give tithe and offering, you are enemy to God. Without telling you that tithe and offering is what you eat before God. And you will, if you are eating it before God, it is like a feast in the house of God. The day of tithing and offering, you come there, you invite people who does not have, you eat with them. Deuteronomy 14, start from 20, good higher to the end. Then you will understand the tithe and offering. So that is the reason why sometimes when I'm talking against these pastors, and according to the Bible, who said that they dealed falsely, all of them. He never say, he said from the least to the greatest, they dealed falsely. Because they are no longer following the ways of the Lord. They are no longer following the commandment of God. They tell you that Jesus Christ with blue, with a como guy, with red hat, that he came and died and took away the law. Which is, it is like a person who call himself a citizen of a nation and they don't use constitution of that nation. A constitutionless country, that is a pastor that tells you that Jesus Christ have taken away the law. Ask that pastor, go and commit fornication with somebody's wife. If the husband will not catch you and cut off your throat, why is it a law? Why is it against the law? Go and steal people's stuff. If they will not catch you and burn you alive, why is it against the law? When Jesus Christ with Akomugai have made away with that law. Because it is the same law that so many countries actually selected or implemented their constitution, while making it and shaping it the way it will suit their selfish aggrandizement. That is how constitution on earth began. It is biblical. Now, somebody will tell you this constitution, no, they will see. Now, Jesus, it is about grace. And they will go and read Paul's letter to you. They will go and read the book of Galatians. After reading it, where Paul say we are not judged according to the commandment, we are now judged according to the grace. According to the grace. Now you ask Paul, the Paul that wrote to you, he said precept must be upon precept, because Paul's letter has its own cut up. If you see the way people complain that you went and cut my video, Paul's letter comes like this, short. He writes his letter that you need to pick them up together, bring it together in order to understand Paul's letter. In that book where it says, in the Galatians, where it says that it is no longer about the law. You are judged according to the grace. What is the law? The law is that man that the guy with Akomo guy with blue eyes is impersonating when he came and died for for our nation. You know what he did? He became the law, so that we no longer need to go and buy animals and kill blood in the name of appeasing the God. So that he represented that sacrifice of where people are now making a lot of money from. Every priest, and that is the same thing they are doing. Every priest will now come during that time of Jesus Christ, will say that if you do anything, they will say, go and buy cow, go and buy goat, go and buy pigeon, go and buy this. Then they will be selling it and will do everywhere. If I call it it will look like it is infendalose. If I forget whatever they will use to appease the Chukwokike, the God Almighty, the creator of heaven and earth, because what they're supposed to use to appease the gods, they will use it to appease themselves. That is the reason why Christ took it upon himself, because he knows that he takes a blood to replace a blood. He chose to be, he is a human being. Just like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have taken upon himself, he want to suffer for the sake of Biafra. Christ took it upon himself. Let me be this sacrificial lamb, because the poor people are living in sin, in the name that they are going to appease for their sins. That is my culture and your culture that is watching. And they are no longer able to afford to buy this cow, goat, ram. And these people they are giving it to is not using it to appease the gods. They are using it to make money. Aroba afo obulo menana. Anadromma ulundinze. That's where that adage was derived. Anadromma ulundinze. And the same thing now, as the world keeps evolving, the strategy of these same people keep changing. So now you see, they are no longer taking cow and goat. They are taking tithe and offering. Because, Christ, the real Christ, which is the Lion of tribe of Judah. I told you from the Hebrew to Jeremiah, you saw he is a tribe of Judah. That's why he is called the Lion of tribe of Judah. He is the one who died, and he became the law. And he says, no one cometh to my Father except through me, the law. That is exactly the context of Christ, the role of Christ. And if you want to contextualize it to the freedom, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu became the sacrificial lamb, so that you will know how important it is to get freedom. That's exactly the way it is. Now, so many of you who does not understand this context, you will think that Judge Money is exaggerating. Or you will think that Judge Money is just speaking. He is a theist. He don't believe in God. He don't believe in this thing because I say I don't believe in Christianity. The reason why I say I don't believe in Christianity is that there are, they pick and choose what benefits them, and they start selling the agenda. That is the replica of what the West is doing with Africa. They pick and choose policies that favors them, and they will initiate it in Africa and promote it. Use mainstream media. Make sure it happens. So it is from the lower echelon to the higher echelon, which is the West is the higher echelon. Pastors is the your politicians is the middle echelon. Your pastors is the lower echelon. That is how these neo-colonialists graded or actually set up their agenda and their structure, and it is playing like a program. This one does its damage. This one will think that this one is going to repair the damage this one is doing, without you knowing that this one you are embracing is destroying you more than the one you are running from. When the president cause a chaos in the country, bring terrorists to kill you, cause hunger and starvation, hike inflation rate because they are not innovative, they don't know how to diversify issues, they are just there for looting. You will find out the country is full of crime, full of poverty, full of everything. Now, the Christianity now comes in. Pastors, they will come in. When these pastors come in, they will pray that it will be well with you on low, but not to be well with the country. It will never be well with the country, no matter the amount of prayer they will pray. It will never be well with the country because they are working with the situation of the country. If that situation is not in that country, you will not be under pressure to be God and tithing and offering after they must have brainwashed you that if you don't tithe, you will be in tight corner. So if not such situations, they will start kicking you out. Bring yourself back up. So if not such situations, you will not be going to these people to exploit you. Believe you me. I believe you me. I stand in the covenant of Chukwokikabiama to tell you this. I did not say give me money for the sake of telling you the truth. But the truth is what I am telling you, and you will not like it because you did not grow up hearing it this way. That is the reason why it will be so difficult for you to digest it, or for you to say, let me acknowledge it. You will be thinking about it, you will be seeing it, then the next second thought will come. No. It is always like that. But when you understand science, you understand mathematics, you will know that this is psychology. They will use it to twist your mind. They will beat you this side. You will think that this person is going to pet you, not knowing that this person is exploiting you in the name of petting you, consolidating with your problem, exploiting you. And at the end of the day, your mind, it becomes a norm to your mind. This one is consolidating. People are giving testimony, but you never give. You have never given. Every day people are giving. You have never given. Why aren't you giving? Because you are not paid money to come and give testimony. Until you are paid money to come and give testimony, you are linked by somebody, or the setup give you a prophecy, follow the back, fulfill it for you, that you may come and give testimony. That's what they do. They will give you a prophecy. Use somebody that knows you to fulfill it. Then you will think that this person, that is my testimony. Then does it continue? No. After some days or months, it vanishes from the thin air. There will be no longer miracle. You go back to tight corner. And they will tell you because you didn't pay enough tithe. You didn't pay enough tithe. Now you have to now say, let me appease God. You go even borrow money to give tithe in the church. They will be using toothpick. Now they they will be flying private jets. Because your mind is positioned in such a way that this church is going to be your healer. Healer that heals you from every, well, no matter what that situation is, this church is my healer. That's why it says they dealed falsely. That is the reason why they cannot teach you the Bible. They cannot tell you the prophecies, because it is their duty to know all these prophecies written in the Bible, when it is going to come. They will follow the algorithm, tell you when it is going to come, tell you this is how it is going to happen, give you the signs, then you will understand, and tell you what to do in order to escape it or to avert it. But they will not do it, because they are not in line anymore. They will not make money doing it. So that is the reason why. And that is Christianity for you. That is the reason why Bible told you that God destroys Sodom and Gomorrah for the sake of particular topic, of particular people. And those are the things that you are being forced today to acquire, or to basically, accept. They will force you to accept it, because they are bringing Sodom to the whole world now. Because God, challenged the Satan that he destroyed Sodom. Now, Satan wants to make the whole world, including the world of God, to be like Sodom, believing that God will look at all of it. And he said to himself already, I will not destroy the world. His word is his bond. And because he cannot destroy the world, the devil wants to make the whole world to be a Sodom. And when it becomes a Sodom, believing that it will not, but at the end of the day, God will select those who are his, send them to a place of safety. The same way he is calling those our people in Lagos State. The same way he is calling our people in Lagos State. And calling them to go back to their land. They are actually ignoring it, believing that Nigeria has always been like this. They will do maga nkanwaga once Tinubu is sworn in. Nkanwaga. That is what you will be telling yourself. But he said it will be like a chest roll. When that time comes, it will be like a chest roll, where everybody will be running, children will be dashed, pregnant women will be killed, children, the fetus in their stomach will be removed, it will be killed. That is the prophecy. And it is coming. Because the ancient Medes is rising up. They are realizing whom they are. They are realizing their purpose. And their purpose is to conquer the world. And in conquering of the world, they will destroy one problem. And when they finish destroying this problem, and they will conquer you. And it is not as if they are not going to destroy one problem. The problem that is keeping you down, it is ordained that they will be destroyed. The Babylon. The Babylon. Because, when you hear about the word Babylon in the Bible, or in the story of the Bible, or Bible texts, you will believe that this word that you are hearing, it is about theory. Never happened really. The world of Babylon was collapsed. But that was present continuous terms. The walls of Babylon. Present continuous terms. Now, the reason why it continues, it is because the walls of Babylon was destroyed, and they now shifted, thinking that they have now seen the strategy which God used to destroy the walls of Babylon. They now want to re-strategize. They now extended it. The walls of Babylon, it is the West. It is the people, the land of West. And the head of Babylon, it is the United States. The countries that is living in the north. If you want us to show you, if you want me to show you in the Bible, maybe it is also written here. It told you about the country that is living in the north, in the northern part of hemisphere. They are the new Babylon. And those are the people that will be dashed. Those are the people that will be slain by the ancient Medes. The ancient Medes is arising. But we will see to that. As long as you get ready and make sure the ancient Medes does not come and now start ruling over you again. While they are advancing, you need to start advancing those who say they are going to die for Christianity. The time has come. The time has come. If you believe that Christianity leads you to freedom, die for it. If you believe it does not lead you to freedom, don't die for it. But think well before you engage. Make sure you make a right decision. Because you are going to blame no one. If eventually when you finish, you find out that the Christian you are following is not the right one. Because God cannot use your oppressor to create a platform that you use to praise him and worship him and pray him. He cannot give it to you through your oppressors. It can only come through your people, through your ancestral origin. Chọnụ Jehova mgbe ị ga-achọta ya, kpọkuo ya mgbe ọ nọ nso. Because oh God, there is no more time. That I can assure you. There is no more time. People believe that it is about what they are going to achieve because they don't even try to peep back home. Some of you outside Nigeria, you don't even try to peep back home. Do you know it came to a time where people were buying land in Lagos? It was in 2020. Oh no. Was it in 2020 before COVID? 2019. Before COVID. Land agents came. Land agents, we sat with them from land agents from Lagos. We sat with them. They just traveled to go to abroad to market the lands in Lagos. They were, they visited me and some of my, friends, and they introduced land to us. I saw people buying land of 100 million, buying land of 200 million, buying land of 300 million. Not one land though, because it starts with